question we get a lot. How can I write for Medium publications? The short answer, this is something you're going to love to hear. Medium publications want your stories, and they've already given you all the answers in the submission guidelines. If you read those and you understand what a publication is looking for, you are going to increase your chances of having a story accepted by a Medium publication and getting it published by them. In this story, I'm going to walk you through what most publication editors are looking for and some tips for getting a yes from them. The short version of this video is just find a publication that is the best fit for your story idea, evaluate that publication's submission guidelines and make sure you're sticking to them, read at least 5 recent stories in that publication, submit your story, and then try again. That's all there is to it. For the longer version, here we go. A quick refresher for anybody who does not know or is not 100% sure of what Medium publications are. So if you go to your homepage, you'll see that there are a bunch of different publications here. The Latin American, Music for Thought, and Fitness and in Health. These are all publications. The fun thing is that these are all run by other Medium writers, not Medium staff. This is what really helps create this really rich, diverse number of publications on Medium. It also means that they're a little idiosyncratic. Every editor has their own way of running things, and so there's no standard way to write for a Medium publication because every editor has different tastes, different submission guidelines, just a different way of doing things at their publication. Why bother going to all this effort to try to write for Medium publications? Because writing on publications on Medium is a hugely beneficial way to reach a wider audience, especially if you're a beginner with not that many followers on Medium. When you write for a publication on Medium, you get to piggyback off of their existing audience. So the Latin American, for example, has 72 followers, Music for Thought has 600, and Fitness and in Health, over 150,000. That's a really big potential audience to show your pieces to. Okay, so let's start with step 1, finding the right publication. The first step to writing for Medium publications is picking the one that's the best fit for your story. You don't want to submit your story about AI to a gardening publication. That's going to be the fastest no of your life, or vice versa. There are 2 easy ways to find a publication that's a good fit for you, depending on whether or not you already have a draft ready. If you don't have a draft ready and you want to be inspired, check out our huge list of publications accepting submissions. Just scroll through this until you see something that you're like, yeah, I have a story idea about music. I have a story idea about culture and snacks or life and health, and just scroll through until you get inspired. If you already have a draft or idea, head on over to the Explore Topics page and try to pinpoint the one topic your story is about: self-awareness, coaching, friendship, and then go back to the huge list of publications and just Control F for, say, life, until you find a publication that meets that topic that you want to write about. You can also explore the topic page itself to see what publications are coming up there. Quick little tip, if you think you know what topic your story is about, but you're not 100% sure, just go ahead and explore that topic page and see what stories are cropping up here to get an idea of the kind of stories that qualify here as like friendship stories. Okay, using those 2 methods, put together your shortlist of publications that could be a good home for your story. Step 2, read the submission guidelines. So if you're going via the huge list of Medium publications accepting submissions, we have helpfully linked to all the submission guidelines right here, so you can click to them and see what do I need to do to make sure that my story gets accepted here. Because this is the really great thing. Most editors on Medium are hungry for good, well-written submissions for their publication. Well-written stories are rare, not on Medium, but just across the whole world. And these editors want your stories. So make it as easy as possible for them to get that yes just by reading these submission guidelines. The information you're really looking for on a submission guidelines is what kind of stories they accept. So for example, Stanley says clearly he wants music essays about trending topics in the music industry. Great. What stories they don't accept? No album or song reviews, so that's really interesting. It's an easy mistake to make, but it's clearly laid out. It's clearly laid out here in the submission guidelines that that's not what they want. If they have any formatting guidelines, you'll be able to find those here. If you need images, normally you'll be able to see that. And they often give you some kind of timeline that you can expect to hear back. So here Stanley says 3 to 5 business days. You'll know if your story gets in or not. You're also looking for how to be added as a new writer to the publication. So with some publications, it's as easy as following the publication. Let me show you what I mean. Here is a random draft I have of some images. I submit it to a publication, and here I can see a bunch of publications that I follow. Even if I've never written for them before in the past, they're still showing up here as ones that accept submissions because the only requirement is that you follow the publication and, of course, read the submission guidelines. Other ones, like the Publication Music for Thought, they want you to fill out a form. They'll get back to you if they will add you as a writer. Once they add you, then you'll see them pop up on that submissions flow where as a publication that you can submit a draft to. Again, idiosyncratic. Every publication editor has a slightly different way of doing things. Some want a form, some want you to leave a response to this story, some just need you to follow the publication. So read the submission guidelines carefully and make sure that you're following them to the best of your abilities. Okay, so you found some publications, you've carefully read the submission guidelines. What's left? The next step is to read a few stories here and make sure that your story is a good fit, that you can see it hanging out here and being in good company. So just click through these, read a few, get a sense for what the publication likes. A special tip is some publications will spotlight editor picks, and this will give you an even better idea of what the editor really, really loves to see in their publication. So if you see it and you're easily able to find this editor picks, check them out. If not, no worries, just have a look at what's recently been published on the publication. A little tip for you here, by going to this URL, medium.com/publication/all, you can actually filter by most popular by year. So you can see not just what the editor likes, but what the readers of the publication are really resonating with and what they like to see here. So you don't have to use this information to make a decision, but it's great to see if you're submitting a story to a publication, the kinds of writing, the kinds of topics that the editors and the readers of a publication enjoy seeing. At this point, all that's left to do is to submit your story. So head on over to that story draft that you've got. Hopefully at this point you've been added as a writer to your publication. Click Submit to Publication. Find one that either you contribute to or just the one that you follow. Pick it and send it for review. And finally, the last step is to repeat. Don't expect all your submissions to be accepted. Expect feedback, expect editors to push back, because that's the really great thing about getting to work with an editor. It means that somebody else is going to see your story, see its potential, and think, what can I do to help make this story even better for my readers? Targeting readers that you want to reach, because there are readers who have signaled that they're interested in that thing that you're writing about. The submissions process is a great way to force yourself to improve your writing, because you have to think not just, oh, I'm going to publish this into the void, but I'm going to submit this to an editor who can accept or reject it. And I want to do everything I can to make sure they accept it. And I find personally that just makes me go through my submissions with a fresh eye, really determined to make my work stand out. I also want to be clear, a rejection does not mean your story is bad and you are bad. Rejections suck. There's no way to get around that, but they're an important part of the writing process, not just on Medium, but just writing full stop. Sometimes you submit things that aren't a great fit or are not totally what the editor had in mind for their vision of the publication, or they just think you need to develop your craft a little bit more. It's not a judgment on you, it just means try again later. The best thing you can do in those cases, go back to those submission guidelines, go back to the stories that have been recently published, and see how you think you can improve based on that. Some editors may even give you feedback for why they're rejecting a story. If they do, please take that as the gold that it is, because they have taken time out of their day to give you free advice on how to improve your writing, and that is not something that you should be taking for granted. Thank you to the editors on Medium who take the time to do that, because I know our writers really appreciate it. Okay, to summarize this video, publications help Medium's recommendation system find stories for readers. So by publishing with a publication, by writing for publications, you get to improve your chances of reaching a wider audience. You also get to send your story to an editor, and that is a way to improve your writing. So if you're just getting started, here's the TLDR action plan. Have a story, or at least a story idea. Browse that huge list of publications, I'll link it in the video description. Read the submission guidelines of your short list of publications that look interesting to you. Read a few stories that have been recently published there to get an idea of what could be a good fit, and whether your story would be in good company there. Polish your story, hit that submit button, and then be patient and be ready to try again. Medium publications are a great way to reach more readers and make yourself a better writer in the process. Okay, thank you so much for watching this video. I hope you have a great rest of your day, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye, everybody.